Who has the advantage if it rains, Jesse? It was raining hard in that Eagles game last week.
Yeah.
Sheets of rain. Sheets.
I mean, with the 49ers, the way they run the ball, I think against a lot of teams would have an advantage in the rain. But against the Eagles, absolutely not. The Eagles have played in this type of weather for 2 weeks in a row now. Jalen Hurts played very well last week. He had, 4 or 5 touchdowns.
Mhm.
He can run the ball. They have a very good offensive line. They have a good running game with Swift. They just did it last week. The Eagles certainly do. And the other thing is, Jalen Hurts showed that he can throw the ball in the rain. And I actually watched a press conference from
Right.
him today, and they asked him about the rain. Are you worried about it or whatever? He's like, well, yeah, I mean, ideally you want good weather, but I think if it rains, it's to our advantage, no matter who we play, because a lot of these teams play in warm weather. A lot of these teams play in domes. We don't have that luxury, and it's not ideal all the time, but I look at it as a positive, not a negative. I think it's an advantage that we can use to our favor. So he believes it's an advantage for the team as well. I definitely think that it's advantage Eagles if that's the case. But I also think that it's a really, really good opportunity for Brock Purdy to show that he can play well in the rain. I don't buy that he can't play well. His hands are not that small. His hands are actually bigger than Trey Lance's. He has decent sized hands for a quarterback. So that is not the issue. He has played arguably his worst games or stretches in a game during rain. Cleveland game, it was wet, didn't play well. Seattle in the playoffs, the first quarter, it rained. He didn't play well. But I don't think that that is an indictment on who he's always going to be. But he definitely has to prove that he can do it. I do have that question. And I think this would be a really good opportunity for him and this team, this offense, to prove that they can stay on schedule, on time, and do the same things that they do in the rain versus out of the rain. So I think it's an opportunity.
I like your optimism and the way you look at it. Glass half full. It's just that we know the Eagles are experienced with this. They dealt with this last week. They came from
Yep.
behind in this and won in this kind of torrential downpour. So maybe it won't rain, but if it does, the Niners just don't have the exposure to it. Like they played in like a little bit of a drizzle in Cleveland, lost. It hasn't been raining that much out here. Funny enough, it rained this morning, but it didn't rain this afternoon. And we asked Kyle Shanahan, or someone asked Kyle Shanahan, were you kind of hoping that it would rain today in practice? You get a little prep. And he was like, no. Like, what do you mean, no? He's like, no, I don't want that. And then I asked him, are you going to practice with wet balls? And he was like, no. I was like, what do you mean, no? I didn't say that, but that's what I thought.
I
When
heard
he
the
said that.
question and I thought the same thing. I'm like, why? It doesn't make
You
any
remember 2
sense.
years ago when they lost to the Colts in the
Yeah.
rain,
Yeah.
and he was talking about how he didn't use wet balls in practice, and then Carson Wentz, who it was like one of the final games he ever won or whatever, it was like, yeah, we use wet. I mean, the freaking Indianapolis Colts who play in a dome came out here and won in the rain because they actually thought to do that. And Kyle's like, not only does he not think to do it, he's thought to do it and has decided he doesn't want to do it, which is so
He
strange.
like arrogantly is choosing not to do it, essentially, is what it
Why?
comes across as.
I guess I
The
should have asked.
49ers,
Like,
it's not even a Brock Purdy thing. What you're talking about has predated Brock. The 49ers offense has not done well historically in the rain. They just haven't. Jimmy
yeah,
Garoppolo lost multiple rain games that they shouldn't have lost. They lost to the Bears last year, uh, week 1 in a heavy rain game.
that's
We
true.
saw it this year against Cleveland, a game that they shouldn't have lost. It's not just a Brock Purdy thing. It is a 49ers offense thing, and it predated Brock. So you would think that he would prepare for it, I guess, but I don't know. But also, doesn't he not practice 2-minute drills and all those other things too, from what people are talking about? I don't know. I think there's a lot of weird situational things that could be an opportunity to practice, but he chooses not to for whatever reason. So we'll see how it plays.
I would never tell Kyle Shanahan what to do except when I'm quality control. And right now, as his quality control coach, Kyle, I strongly suggest you take a water bottle and douse those footballs with, H2O. Why not? What do you got to lose other than the game? You'll be fine. Darren Dangler says, is this rain game quarterback change part 2? If rain is a factor and Purdy struggles, does Kyle Shanahan give Sam some reps? Purdy still starter, but can Kyle Shanahan adjust? I don't think so, man.
I hope not.
I don't think
ever
anyone
want
wants
to see Sam Darnold play football in a 49er uniform ever again.
When Sam Darnold gets on the field, they don't let him throw, which sort of, I think, is the real representation of the real indication of what Kyle Shanahan feels about Sam. If you really liked him, you might let him throw a little bit, but he doesn't. Amp the Carolina.
Oh, no, go back one. You didn't read the last one.
Oh, dang. 126 Jack 3 says, watching JT Sullivan's breakdown of Hurts and notice the Eagles often have linemen downfield in RPOs. Tell Kyle to harp on the refs about it. Feels like the Eagles get a lot of leeway.
The Eagles are habitual line pushers. Like if Dre Greenlaw was a football team, it'd be the Eagles.
Yeah. Amp the Carolina Niner says, want us to win, but imagine the inflated ego afterwards. Doesn't take much for this team to start feeling themselves. Pause. Wouldn't be good for the inevitable playoff matchup. This is true. Like the Niners beat the Cowboys and took a 3-week vacation before the bye week. They're like, oh, the bye week's in a month. Nah, let's just knock it off now. What if they beat the Eagles? It'd be terrible. It'd be the worst.
What if they lose to the Eagles, though? Wouldn't that be so just as terrible?
Well, no matter what happens is bad for the 49ers.
Just tie him.
Yeah. Santos Camacho III says, and no wet ball practice, Kyle. WTF you doing? What does that mean? I don't know.
What the F?
What the F? Official BNA Music 88 says the last time Desai coached against Kyle's offense was the 2021 Bears game where Debo saved Jimmy's job. That is true. I was at that game.
Did a pretty good job in that game.
I thought Jimmy was going down, and I wasn't rooting for it. But part of me kind of wanted.
That was the famous game where he said, "This is easy-ish. Can you handle it?"
You were there,
and it was picked up on the sideline. Remember?
That felt like a missed opportunity. It felt like Debo. It's all Debo's fault. Jamila 13 says, Purdy better not get hurty. Kyle is stubborn and will call that same play. Don't believe me. Just watch. I believe you.
I don't think you will. There's
Kyle,
no
I dare you to
no
call that
way.
freaking play. I freaking dare you to call it, dude. Do it. Do it. Madness Domenis says, should BP wear gloves for better grip on Sunday? Why not? I mean, have them in case.
I think, yeah, definitely have a Newman's leather glove ready to go, Peyton Manning style. But it all comes down to the quarterback. Some quarterbacks are comfortable with them, some are not. Again, it's not a hand size issue. It's really not. He just hasn't played well in the rain. So
it probably would cost the team $30 to get those gloves.
You can get them on Amazon for like $26.99.
He can put them in his pocket, take them out, put them on, put one on, one off. He can make it look good. He can cut the fingertips off. You know what I'm saying?
That'd be so weird. Cut the little knuckle holes out.
Madness Domenis should BP wear gloves. Oh, no, I got you already. Matt McEwen. Hey, guys. Love the name of the show. Keep up the good work. Hey, Matt, I didn't even DM him back, but this was Matt's idea. He DM'd me. He was like, hey, did you watch this? And I was like, let me not respond to you at all, but take the idea. Make it sorry. Thank you, Matt. Brother Bob says, Kyle said sweat makes the balls wet. He did. He did say that. He probably laughed.